What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Don't Quote Us Sports. It is Wednesday, January 28th. And Herb, I'm just going to come out and tell everybody or apologize to everybody. It's on me. The reason that this pod is coming out a day later than typical. For those that aren't aware, I was caught in a travel weekend from hell.
Conundrum, to say the least.
Yeah, I was in Minneapolis this past weekend, and trying to get home to Charlotte was a disaster.
Walk them through it. Let the people know.
Our flight was supposed to be Sunday morning, 8 o'clock, straight in, direct from Minneapolis to Charlotte. Then it got, I forgot what, I think it was Saturday. It got moved, so now we are going from Minneapolis to Atlanta to Charlotte, starting at 10. And then me and Rachel talked about it, and we're like, well, maybe we should just try and head out Saturday night if possible, to try and beat the weather. So then I tried rebooking our flight, which this is kind of messed up on the Delta interface, because I was looking for, I had filtered flights for Saturday. So I'm going through all the flights, and I see one, and it's from Minneapolis to Detroit to Charlotte, and it would leave at I forgot what time. Well, I figured it was on Saturday. Come to find out that it was on Sunday, and I was like, well, that is not what I want, you know? So then we rebook again. We found a direct flight from Minneapolis to Charlotte, which was Sunday night at 6. And we get into Charlotte at 8:30 on Sunday. Sunday comes, we get to the airport, get through security. It's 6 o'clock or something, 5:30 before our flight. We're sitting at our gate. Gets moved back an hour. We're like, great, okay, awesome.
Fine, an hour, whatever, right?
7 o'clock. Then it gets moved back to 7:30. Oh. Then it gets moved back to 7:50. We're like, oh my god. Well, then the pilot, I think it was the co-pilot, was at the gate, and we overhear him talking. He's like, yeah, I'm pretty confident we're gonna get out tonight. I think we're good. We just gotta wait for the pilot, the lead pilot, because I guess he was flying in on a different flight, and he was running late because of whatever. So he lands, comes over to our gate. They start boarding us. We get onto the plane. I'm like, yes, we're going to go home. Awesome. We sit on that plane for over an hour. And then they come over the phone and they're like, yeah, we have a pilot timeout.
Yep.
Always so we're going to need everybody to deboard. I'm like, brother, how... if you were going to time out on this flight, why did you have us board and sit here for an hour?
And there's nothing worse than sitting on an airplane. I'm guessing economy, maybe business class.
Oh, economy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're chasing your knees the entire time.
So we get off the plane. Then we have to go stand in the line, to go get a hotel room and rebooked for tomorrow. They rebook us for a 5:10 a.m. flight out of Minneapolis. To Atlanta and then to Charlotte. We get to our hotel at 10:30, and I hating my life. Fall asleep, wake up at 3:30 to catch the shuttle. Get onto the plane to Atlanta. Good. We get to Atlanta. Awesome. Figure out how to get to our gate, which I've never been to the Atlanta airport before this weekend.
Big.
That's a monster.
Yeah, it's a city within the city.
Yeah, that was crazy. Get to our gate. All good. No problems. They board us. We're sitting and it's an empty flight. A bunch of connecting flights missed. It was a half empty plane, and I was like, oh, this is going to be sweet.
Rachel, move over to the next row because daddy's stretching out.
Because it's a 45-minute flight. We're going to be up and down. It's going to be awesome. We're sitting on that. plane for a good 30 minutes. They get over the mic and they're like, "Hey guys, sorry, little maintenance problem. Have to replace a valve." We sat on that plane for 2 hours.
You could have damn near driven halfway home.
We sat on that plane for 2 hours for them to fix that valve. I don't understand why don't they just deboard us if they know it's going to take 2 hours? Do they not realize how uncomfortable a plane is to be in?
They don't care because they already have your money.
And the worst part is we were woken up at 3:30. We had no time to get food, like, at all to this point. I was living off of the airplane snacks. I had 4 bags of Cheez-Its and 2 things of Biscoffs.
I will say the snacks on Delta are an elite snack group. I'll give them that.
Compared to the like unsalted pretzels you get on American, I'll take it. But god damn, dude. So we finally got home yesterday at like 1:00. It just felt like forever. And now we're here. So, all that to say, I'm not going to be flying again soon, because that sucked. But that's on me. I should have known better. I should have known.
You also picked the worst weekend, maybe in the history of the Southeast, to be flying.
You're right. I should have known when I bought these Rascal Flats tickets in August. This weekend was going to be awful.
Oh, you didn't check?
That's on me.
You didn't check the weather?
That's on me. I should have known.
They didn't have 5-month projections for you?
You're right. No, and the worst part is the weather wasn't even that. We land in Charlotte, and there's some snow on the ground. Other than that, it was fine.
Yeah, but we both know in the South, if a duck farts, traffic stops. That's how it was in LA, man. I tell you what, if you got a misting of precipitation, LA shut down.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm glad you made it. You made it. How was the concert?
I will say, no disrespect out there whatsoever. I didn't realize how like Christian Rascal Flats were.
Oh.
Because not only did I get an hour-and-a-half concert, I also got multiple sermons.
Oh, were you touched by the Lord?
Oh, they touched me, all right. Like, they had the ladies doing, like, the hands up in the air.
A lot of hallelujahs.
Like at church. And I was like, we might be doing too much here.
Hey.
And that's no diss. Hey, if you're religious, no problem. Do your thing. Praise God. Hallelujah. But I paid money to see a concert. I just want to hear the concert.
They didn't bring Joel Osteen out there?
They didn't, thankfully.
What a shame. You could have got a dinner and a show.
Yeah, so.
I'm glad you're back.
Same. I am glad to be sleeping in my own bed again.
Yeah.
I also get to work from home all week.
Hey.
So that's an added bonus. So I appreciate that.
Big win after big win now. Look out. We're rolling, baby.
Mm-hmm. But I need to talk some sports. We had a big weekend. Before we get into that, this is episode 40.
We made it.
We're another big round number for us. That's nice.
Hey, there's a lot of 40s out there in the pro sporting world where folks to wear 40. I'm interested to see what list you got. I've got a name for you. I don't think you're going to call it out, but I got a name to blow your socks off.
Uh-oh. Hopefully my list does this justice then. I don't know if it will. Okay, first name I got for you is a legend of the day, one of the best dunkers of all time, goes by the name of Sean Kemp.
Supersonics legend.
3-time All-NBA. Love that. Then we're going to shout out the kid from Ames, Iowa.
Hey.
The one that we know best. Mr. Harrison Barnes.
Hey, shout out to
He may never have lived up to the expectations that might have been placed upon him, but he has had a long, prosperous career in the NBA, won a title, and he hails from the state of Iowa. So shout out Harrison Barnes, the Black Falcon.
Is that his nickname?
Yeah,
who
according to his
that?
basketball reference.
Who calls
I don't know.
Black Falcon?
I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Okay. my favorite name that we might have on this list, solely because the dude was an absolute thug back for the bad boy Pistons, and that is Bill Lampier, the Prince of Darkness, his heinous counterfeit Bill, the Incredible Hulk,
Bill
4-time All-Star, 2-time NBA champ. Shout out Bill Lampier, that thug, always willing to throw hands.
Honestly, gave us some of the best basketball in the 90s. Like, he set the tone.
And then Udonis Haslem. He had a jersey number, even though all he did was sit on the bench.
Hey, listen,
but he had a jersey number.
He was playing, okay. Udonis was getting tick.
Correct. But the last 10 years of his career, what kind of bullshit?
Hey, we do have to be nice to him because he is the current GM of the Heat. I think both of us are yeah, he's the GM of the Heat, is he not? Or director of scouting or something like that?
I was going to say, isn't Pat Riley the GM still?
I mean, he might be president. Hold on. Producer, where's our notes?
God damn, Rachel, where's you at? He's the vice president of basketball development.
Okay, well, listen. In all the mock drafts I've seen, a gentleman by the name of Bennett Sturts, former Drake Bulldog, is getting drafted by the Heat. So we got to be nice to Udonis and hope he takes our boy.
Yeah, maybe I don't want him to go to the Heat.
Can you imagine Bennett Sturts in South Beach?
Exactly. I feel like he needs to be in Milwaukee,
Indiana,
Utah.
Yep. Is the fit, isn't it?
Yep, it definitely is.
Somebody called the Jazz up for us.
Okay, so that was basketball. Only one NFL player I have, but you'll know the name. Legend, wasn't around long, but he was around for a good time, and that is Gale Sayers, formerly of the Chicago Bears.
Smoothest cut in all of football, even to this day. The most wicked slide. He could slide from a front side A gap to the back side C gap before you even knew he was gone.
66, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. He played 7 years. He was a 5-time first team All-Pro in those 7 years, if that tells you anything.
Sets the stage.
And then baseball. I got some fun names in baseball, Herb. First one is good old Madison Bumgarner. Hails from Hickory, North Carolina, just nearby Charlotte here. But we remember him for his World Series wizardry. 3-time World Series champ. Absolute horse.
He got a no-no on him?
I don't believe so.
I thought he had a no-no.
I think that's Matt Cain you might be thinking of.
Matt Cain did have one.
I don't think he did.
I thought Matty did. Watch, it's like
he had a 7-inning no-hitter.
Oh, don't pull him, coach.
If you count that.
No, you got to go 9.
It's saying maybe he did have one.
I thought he did. He was a lunatic, by the way. An absolute lunatic out there.
No, I can't figure it out right now. My Google searches are bad. But yeah, Madison Bumgarner. Shout out him. And then the one and only Bartolo Colon.
Bartolo. I mean, you want to talk about an electric factory and a human being. Look no further than Bartolo Colon.
There may not be a better baseball highlight than a 40-year-old, I think he 41, 42, 43. He was old. Bartolo Colon playing for the New York Mets and jacking a home run in San Diego.
It surprised him. Let's be honest. He just swung the head of that thing at the ball and said, "Oh shit, that went."
Just craziness.
All right. Okay. All right.
So those are the names I got. Did I hit the one that you had?
Nope. You are missing an NFL Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Some say the
Wait. Let me see if keep going. I'm gonna see if
the Colossus of Clout. Okay.
Yep, I got it. Yep, I know who it is. Fuck me.
And if, God forbid, a white boy get a little motion, but Mike Allstott rocked 40 and rocked a collar doing it too and made the entire NFL look silly.
Okay, first off, I'm going to correct you. He is not in the Hall of Fame.
Mike Allstott's not a Hall of Famer?
He is not.
Okay,
No.
we're starting a campaign, get Mike Allstott in the Hall of Fame. What are we doing?
So thank you.
Well, my apologies, but he absolutely should be. Are you kidding?
No. 3-time All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowl, 1-time Super Bowl.
That's disrespectful. We're going to talk a little Hall of Fame here too, because there's some Hall of Fame news out there. But
we can start right there. This is somewhat breaking news.
It's disrespectful, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah. So news comes out this evening that Bill Belichick will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer, even though he is an 8-time Super Bowl winning coach. Voting occurred earlier this month. Belichick fell short of the 40 out of 50 votes needed for induction during his first year of eligibility, and he was notified of that last Friday afternoon.
Who's ever voting on that should be shot.
I'm baffled. I know he did not leave the NFL maybe on the best terms possible, but come on, this should be a no-brainer. He's the best coach in NFL history.
Yeah, and the only other argument is Lombardi because the damn trophy's named after him, right? Like, that's so incredibly disrespectful to Bill Belichick and what he built from basically nothing. Let's be honest. Like, he took a Tom Brady and made him into something after Parcells. It's just such a crazy thing to consider that you can win 8 Super Bowl titles, and there are coaches in the Hall of Fame who don't have a title. What?
You know what the most ironic, you want to know? So obviously it's the politics of it all, right? That he doesn't get in first ballot because the people that vote on this are a bunch of old, are veteran NFL reporters. But you know who did get in or will be getting inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, ironically enough? Robert Kraft.
Oh, you mean the guy who's getting jerked off in Vietnamese and massage parlors? That Robert Kraft?
Yeah, the same Robert Kraft that owns the franchise that Bill Belichick is known for. So, seems a little ironic that Bob Kraft gets named to the Hall of Fame and Bill Belichick doesn't.
Like, here's the thing. Robert Kraft gets in. Tom Brady is absolutely going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And you're going to leave, you got the owner and the quarterback, and you're going to leave the coach out? Are you insane?
I think it's the fact that the way that relationship ended, Robert Kraft was probably like, I don't want to go in the same year Bill does.
Robert Kraft wouldn't be going in without Belichick.
He wanted all the eyes on him. He didn't want Bill to be taking any of his spotlight.
Hey, Robert, go get a tuggy from a 20-year-old Thai woman again. Why don't you, bud? You were under federal investigation, you piece of shit.
Yeah. Pretty crazy, though.
That's so asinine, and it's so dumb that we're putting people in the hall that we've ignored the politics. But Bill, because he left the NFL in kind of a shitty way, and I don't know, he pulled a fucking 10 who's 30 years younger than him. What?
Yeah, they're saying that they're quote unquote pointing to the different scandals that he had while the coach in Spygate and Deflategate as coming up as part of deliberations that could have been part of it.
Drew Brees is going to be a Hall of Famer. They were running Bountygate down there.
Yeah, but I don't think that was so much as Drew's doing. Bill for sure knew these things were going on.
If Sean Payton gets in on his first run and Bill didn't, that's I feel just horrible for Belichick. He earned it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely what they're pointing to. It's almost like it's his punishment because when you remember back to those scandals, the Patriots were fine and Robert Kraft was fine. The Patriots got I guess Bill Belichick did get a fine for it, but it was really the Patriots that were the losers in both of those instances. So I think there is a lot of people in the NFL that hold some animosity for that, and this is kind of a punishment.
I hope Brady comes out with a public statement on how shameful that is. Do the right thing, Tom.
Yeah. So yeah, good call out. Good place to start on that one.
It leads us right into our first game.
It does. I'm sorry. I was just reading the rest of this article real quick. Okay. Yeah, that's all I got there. I just had to make sure I wasn't missing anything good there.
Fair enough. Real quick, last thing on Bill Belichick. Do you remember the ring cam footage of him leaving that woman's house at like 6 a.m. shirtless?
Mm-mm.
You've never seen that clip?
I mean, I might have seen it. It's not ringing a bell top of head, though.
This was like right at the end of the NFL career, and they found out he was dating this much younger woman. And all of a sudden, a ring cam video comes out of Belichick leaving her house shirtless, looking disheveled, like sliding out the back door kind of thing. Can you imagine being that woman's neighbor, just, in a beachside town, and you and your wife, your retirees, having your morning coffee, and you go, Debbie, I think that's Bill Belichick. No, Richard, that's not Bill. No, honey, that's Bill Belichick shirtless. Could you imagine?
That would be interesting.
It's all morning, Bill.
I mean, it reminds me, as I was standing in the Delta line trying to get my hotel voucher, I am 85% sure Adam Thielen just cruised by on one of those cart things in the airport.
I bet you got a half chubby off that, didn't you?
Because, well, tell me if I'm crazy. Like, there's not many times you just see an able-bodied white man in what looks to be his 30s driving on one of those carts through the airport by himself.
It was one of those moments you go, was that fucking Adam Thielen?
That's exactly how it went.
Yep.
And the kid next to me said that I said it out loud. He's like, I was thinking the same thing.
Well, you missed your opportunity. You could have had him on the pod. What the hell?
I know. God, I got to be ready for instances like that. But that goes back. Can't recognize a lot of players, NFL players, without their helmets.
Yep. It's always been the knock. Always been the knock on the NFL players.
It has. Okay. But like you said, that leads directly into our first game of the weekend. And that is the New England Patriots hanging on against the Broncos in a Snow Bowl, winning 10-7. And first off, I got to start out by saying, Kurt Warner, shut the hell up.
Oh,
shut the hell up. Do you see what he said?
No, tell me.
Brother, he's talking about how that is essentially kind of BS. I should get the tweet real
You know
quick.
what? Maybe I did see something about this. Maybe I did.
Let's make sure.
You're flipping a trigger in the head here.
I don't want to slander what he said.
Yeah, we don't quote us, but we got to quote us here.
Yeah.
Also, when did Kurt Warner start calling games? When did Kurt Warner start getting playoff games? Playoffs? You want to talk about playoffs?
Playoffs. Come on.
Great podcasting here.
Okay, here we go. He says, so glad this weather game is dictating who goes to the Super Bowl! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Throwing up emoji, throwing up emoji, throwing up emoji. There's about 9 of those. And to that, I say, Kurt Warner, shut the hell up. Because that is why you play the regular season. If you don't want to go to Denver in January and play in the fucking snow, win in the regular season. And God forbid, even if they played the game in New England, there was still probably going to be snow on the ground.
And how rich is that coming from a guy who made his career playing inside a dome in St. Louis and then inside of essentially a dome in Arizona?
Yeah.
Like rich coming from you. And I don't like Kurt Warner's a phenomenal quarterback. Don't get me wrong. But like Kurt, like really? But let's not pretend like it was snowing from the kick. It didn't start snowing until the damn fourth quarter.
And let's also not pretend that is not one of the reasons that makes football great, right? And it is just so like infuriating to me where it's like, oh, it sucks that it snows because he's inferring that it sucks because it makes a passing game harder, it makes the game uglier. Well, isn't that what football's about? Where your passing the game is not always going to be there, but how good are you in the trenches? Can you run the ball?
It,
You know,
it was old school, man.
exactly, and that is part of the game. Just like how the wind is a part of the game, rain is a part of the game. All these things are factors.
Yeah,
We can't just what?
and I get it.
It
They
it
were
just was
slipping out
so
there, and I get that like you're worried about injury, and then like you're taking negative plays, and it kind of makes the game tough to watch at times. But like, there's nothing better than the O line, D line putting their hand down in the snow and absolutely getting after it. We're playing smash mouth power football because we have to. But that's not what the era
yeah.
of football was. It's not what your average casual fan is looking for. They're looking for 70-yard bombs because that's all they understand. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there talking about the power blocking they're able to do in 2 inches of damn snow, and I'm bricked up about the idea.
And is that not exact? Like, if you were to ask Denver personnel and even Denver fans, right? Like, would you be okay if it snowed like 6 inches of snow during this game and just made it an ugly, ugly game? Considering you are trouting out Jared Stidham for his first game action since January 7th of 2023, and you're saying you'd rather have him like put the game on his shoulders, have him go throw the ball 35, 40 times. I feel like this was best case scenario for them, and they just didn't come through when it mattered.
Yeah, and if we're talking about the game as a whole, right? You had 3 quarters to try to separate and get ahead, right? Really, I get the fourth quarter and it was a tight game still, but it's not like either team took advantage when it was clear. And now we want to blame the snow? No, thank you. Also, Denver doesn't have a run game. RJ Harvey struggled. He's a receiving back that's clear. J.K. Dobbins is not out there. Meanwhile, Patriots got 2 running backs they can lean on. And Ramondre was that guy in the snow.
Yeah. And I will say, with how that first drive went, though, I there was a part of me who's like, we are about to have a Jarrett Stidham game of the century.
Told you.
Like that first drive, the first 3 passes, I was like, oh boy, we might be in for one. And then he throws that bomb to Marvin Mims, and then immediately the next play throws a touchdown to Cortland Sutton. I'm like, oh shit, maybe. And then I forget if New England went 3-and-out, but they didn't score, obviously, on their first drive. Denver gets the ball back and start driving again. They get down into, I don't know if they were in the red zone. They were just outside of the red
30
zone.
for sure.
Yeah, and gets the 4th down. Instead of taking the field goal, which now has become a big point of conversation, is they decide not to get the field goal, go for it on 4th down. Stidham throws almost an interception, doesn't matter. It was short of the sticks anyways. So instead of being 10-0, it stays 7-0, stays like that through half. And it really makes you wonder how aware was Sean Payne of the weather as it was coming in. Because I can see both like sides of the coin here, right? Where it's like, this weather is about to come in and make this game hell. Let's go out there, try and go up 2 touchdowns, and that might be enough,
Yeah, story of the weekend in both games was take the points, right? And I think you had to take the points there. I get where Sean's coming from. He's an ultra competitive guy, and you're in the playoffs at home early. You're thinking, hey, I can take this risk and we're going to be okay. I don't think anyone thought that they would come out as flat in the third quarter as they did.
In fairness, too, I agree with Payne's call there. They had all the momentum up to that point, too. If they would have scored that touchdown, that might have been a knockout punch, honestly.
We're taking the air out of the Pats for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And that crowd, you have to imagine the crowd, too. would have just been ruckus, like even more than they were, right?
Yeah, that place was rocking, dude, all the way. And when it started to snow, I think Denver fans were like, "Hell yeah, let's get it."
Yeah. Um, but then just staying on Stidham for a second, was it a backwards pass? I've watched that play countless times now the last couple of days. Dude, I don't think it was backwards.
It was tight.
I don't think it was.
It was tight. We got to get these calls right. Like, we have to take the time. We talked about it last week. Take the time. Make sure you're getting it right. It was so borderline that I thought they had to err on that it wasn't, and they didn't. So it's just like, come on, guys.
Well, then on top of that, too, I know that New England ended up scoring, so it's kind of like null and void regardless. But why they let the play out, and they very obviously scooped and scored on the play. Why did they not rule it a touchdown on the field?
That one I didn't understand either. Like I like as an official, right? In order to allow it to be reviewed, you have to let it play out, right? So like that's the right call to let it play out. But if it is a backwards pass, meaning it's a fumble, meaning it's a scoop and score, meaning it's a touchdown. So I didn't get that. I didn't understand that either. I was very perplexed.
Okay. Because I was watching the game on mute because I was hanging out with family before my flight. So I didn't know if they had talked about it on the broadcast or whatnot. But I heard that they had ruled it a fumble. But then I saw Drake May take the field. I was like, what?
And maybe they were just erring on side of caution of like, hey, we're just going to call him down there because we don't know what the fuck we're doing out here. And again, they went down and scored, so it was pretty inconsequential.
Yeah.
Other than you're stealing a touchdown from a defensive player in the AFC Championship game.
But dude, going back to your point though, like you have to get this call right. How, like it can't be that difficult. You can see, hey, he pushes the ball from the whatever yard line right here. We can clearly see the ball hit the ground on this yard line here. Compare the two together and you have your answer.
Yeah, right. And again, like we talked about last week, in week 4, you will cut to commercial 19 times to review if he was out on the 31 or 32 to make it either 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 7, right? And so you can push me the double whopper bullshit. But then when it matters, we don't do the right thing. Like New York, step up. It's what you're there for. It's why this whole thing was created, 10 years ago now? It's why we have so much review and the technology that we have. Yes, you're telling me that some of these AI analytics that they show us that can determine the ball flight projection and the speed of the receiver, and we're doing fucking algebra and calculus all in one, and we can't figure out where the ball landed?
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, guys. If this is the route we're going to go, cool, but let's keep it consistent. There's been no consistency through these playoffs. That has to be addressed at the New York level.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But I honestly, looking back at that game, I don't even know how much blame I want to put onto Jarrett Stidham. Because taking a step back, going into that game, they were saying one of Denver's biggest strengths is their offensive line. They had allowed, they were top 5 in fewest sacks allowed this year, or something like that. Like they had done a very good job of protecting Bo Nix. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I watched every single play that the Broncos played this year. So I don't know how much of that was truly the offensive line or Bo Nix kind of extending plays or getting rid of the ball, you know. But regardless, they were top 5 in fewest sacks allowed. Well, the New England defensive line controlled the game. They sacked Stidham 3 times. Stidham went 1 for 10 on passes under pressure and was 4 of 14 on third downs. So while yes, the quarterback is going to get a lot of the blame, he wasn't put in a great position to succeed by any means.
No, and I think to your point about Bo Nix, I think a lot of that success at O line is knowing that Bo can extend plays. Well, Jared did that as well. Like, don't get me wrong, he was on the move and he was trying to get things done. He's not quite at that talent level to be able to create, and that's okay. But especially when the snow kicked in, and I'm gonna give a little shout out here to a UW Whitewater Warhawk baby, Quinn Miners, okay? Because I indirectly, my sister is engaged to a guy that played with Quinn at Whitewater. They're friendly, right? So I watch Quinn. I'm a big fan of a D3 kid, especially playing right guard. Give me that. He was a monster out there. And I like dude, that snow started coming down. He's like, oh, now I get to play football. This is awesome. And he was out there mauling dudes. But I didn't see the rest of the O line elevate to that energy level. It's almost like the snow came down. They were just like, hey, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get anyone hurt. I don't have a footing. Meanwhile, Quinn's out there laying his body out, just like a kid in middle school playing in the snow game, having a blast. So shout out to Quinn for playing fucking hard. And that's why he got paid like what, last year, year before? I mean, he got
Yeah,
paid.
I don't know. I don't follow offensive line contracts all too
No,
often.
you
But if he
should.
did, congrats on him.
Yeah.
Congrats to him.
No, the snow has the effect, and then let's be honest, Bo Nix is an electric runner. We know this. This is known to the NFL. So part of that is probably that. And then Stidham was seeing ghosts at times, and you expected that. You knew that was going to happen. Where and then he would move in the pocket when he should stand in there firm, and found himself in the arms of one of the Patriots D linemen.
Yeah, but you can see a lot of those offseason moves really benefited the New England Patriots this weekend. Um, between Tonga and Milton Williams on the defensive line, Carlton Davis on the back end. Spillane did get injured and left during this game, but he made some plays. And then Greg Woodson was. No, I was going to say, I thought he was a rookie, but maybe he was. Yeah, I
Seeming,
think he was a rookie. He was a
seemingly
rookie.
that
So,
that model is successful. I know there's only been 1 year of it, but hey, we've got a high draft pick 2 years ago, so we go and get our quarterback, right? And we let him develop, but then let's go spend money in the offseason, go get capable vets. And we're going to get knocked for spending money. Is anyone knocking them now for spending the money that they did? Because I'm sure as hell not.
right. Um, Last thing I'll say on New England's defense is just alluding. I just want to put numbers to the dominance that we saw in the second half. I hope this is right, but don't quote us. I believe it is from the research I did. Patriots defense allowed 32 yards on 5 possessions in the second half.
Yeah,
Just stuck in the mud.
yeah, and we're going to talk about it more, but like the old adage is that defense wins championships, but it felt like we'd moved away from that with Drew Brees being able to carry the Saints and Philip Rivers carrying the Chargers for so long and Tom carrying the Patriots. Are we back? Does defense win championships again? You look at all these teams, all their defenses are elite that played this weekend. And I mean elite defenses. I love it, dude. I love talking about these defenses because what all four of these teams, especially the Broncos in this game, have built has been incredible, and it's fun to watch.
Hmm. And last thing from this game, just got to shout out Drake May. Wasn't the prettiest performance by any means. Only threw for 86 yards, but he was sacked 5 times. But he had 65 yards on the ground and the biggest play all day, which was that naked boot on third down, right after the 2-minute warning to seal that game. And then we come to find out after the game that wasn't even the design play call.
Nope.
That was Drake May on his own, reading the defense and making a play. Which, Herb, I don't know about you. I'm sure he probably gets a pass because it worked out in the end. But if he doesn't get that first down, is he getting it on the sidelines?
Vrabel is inside of him if he doesn't get that first. I know up in the booth, all the offensive coaches are like, oh shit, okay, whoo, he got it. Thank God he got it because that was not the plan. But if he doesn't get that, I've seen Vrabel tear some dudes up in Tennessee, I wonder at what level we would have seen. I mean, it's red face for sure. Steam coming out of the nose, no doubt.
See, I don't know if there would be though. Right at the same time, like I get like the players you don't wouldn't get upset are the all timers. You don't get mad at Patrick Mahomes if he was to do that, or Tom Brady, or Peyton Manning, right? Maybe you get mad at Drake May, second year,
Yep.
still learning. Like this is a young kid just making a rash decision, but at the same time, this dude's probably going to be the MVP too.
Very well could be.
You
But
know,
but I mean, it's Vrabel sitting there recognizing that I have a second year quarterback that really needs to understand the implications of what he just did. Right? And on
yeah,
both the good side of it and the bad side of it. Like, hey, Drake, in the future, when we're in these situations, these things, when we're talking about Tom Brady and you want to be Tom Brady, we want you to be Tom Brady. Tom was thinking about that as he was making plays. So again, that's just a maturation of a very young quarterback who had a horseshoe up his ass on that one.
yeah. Um, but yeah. So with that being said, this is New England's 12th time making it to the Super Bowl. Fuck that. Annoying as shit. Um, but Drake, I don't know who this stat truly gets attributed to because it's really a team stat. But it gets attributed to Drake, man. He's the first quarterback to win 3 straight playoff games against top 5 defenses. It is a team stat, but it does get attributed to him.
It was I will maintain it was still quite a bit easier road than most other teams had to the final here. Because again, you're going against Jared Stidham. If Bo Nix is in that game, how big of a difference is it? It could have been the difference. It could have absolutely been the difference. Let me
Yeah, and we'll see in a couple weeks against Seattle because it will be the healthiest team that they've played in over a month.
Yep. Let me throw a stat at you just because it's the Titan fan in me, right? And you know how upset I was when we fired Vrabel when we absolutely shouldn't have. Mike Vrabel has won more games since the December 25th of 2025 to present than the Titans have since they fired Mike Vrabel.
How do you feel about that?
I'm happy for Vrabel, but I was air punching, and I can only imagine how mad Amy Strunk was, the owner of the Titans. I saw a tweet from a fan account that said, "I think that Miss Strunk is going to fire Robert Saleh, even though we just hired him, but she's just firing everybody because she's angry watching Vrabel go all the way to the fucking Super Bowl."
I mean, it goes back to I forgot when we talked about it, but we talked about it in the past. If you fire a dude that immediately becomes one of the best coaches on the open market, you probably have a head coach that's not worth firing in the first place.
And there are a couple teams this year that are going to find that out the hard way.
Exactly, and we'll get into at least one of those later here. I keep saying last thing about this game, but then I keep finding new stats that just put into perspective how like stupid this Patriots run has been. So I just feel like I have to say them out loud,
Please.
so you know how like outrageous they are. This is actually a good stat. The Patriots have allowed only 26 points across their 3 playoff games. The only team to allow fewer points before a Super Bowl appearance over 3 games were the 2000 Ravens. And we remember how good that defense was. They won a Super Bowl with fucking Trent Dilfer as their quarterback.
Yeah, they had 2 guys, one by the name of Ray Lewis, one by the name of Ed Reed.
I don't was Ed Reed on the team?
Ed might not have been there yet. My apologies. But either way, Ray Lewis was out there. And that was enough. No, Ed would have came in like 02, 03.
02,
Yeah.
So that was stat 1. And then the Patriots offense, not good. This is opposite here now. The Patriots offense have averaged 18 points per game in the playoffs. The fewest by any team to make the Super Bowl since the 1979 Rams. God, you gotta be shitting me.
I told you they're going to do it again. They're doing it again.
Come on, dude.
They're doing it again.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's but I tell you what, I am elated for Mike Vrabel. I think he is getting everything, not that he deserved, but that he has earned to this point. And Pats fans, congrats, because who better than one of your most beloved players in the last 25, 30 years? Mike Vrabel. He came home and he did it in his first year with them.
Yeah, and fun fact, in regards to the Super Bowl, if New England, knock on wood, does win in a couple weeks in Santa Clara, this will be the sixth instance in which um, a college has produced a U.S. president and a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Oh,
You want to take a stab at the 5 schools in addition to UNC if it was to happen?
give me Michigan.
Wait 1 sec. Schools with U.S. president and Super Bowl winning QB. Okay. Hit me. You said Michigan?
Michigan.
Correct.
Give me Notre Dame.
Incorrect.
Oof. Yeah, golly.
I'll give you extra points if you can name the 2 as well.
Oh, good luck. I couldn't tell you which president went to Michigan, and I'm a history major, for God's sakes.
Come on. There's a pretty important name that hails from the state of Michigan.
Oh, my God.
Major car brand. Some say.
Gerald Ford.
There you go.
Thank you.
Are you going to say the quarterback, or am I just supposed to assume you know?
If you don't know, now you know. Little man by the name of Thomas Brady. Okay. Do I want to say Boston College?
No, you don't.
Okay. Give me a conference.
Okay, so I'll help you out. It's kind of a spread out. So you got 2 on the East Coast, 1 on the West Coast, and 1 in the Midwest.
Is Ohio State?
The one in the Midwest.
Ohio State on this
one in the mid. Nope. One in the Midwest, I believe, is in the MAC.
Oh, Super Bowl winning quarterback out of the MAC. Miami of Ohio.
There you go.
Ben Roethlisberger. Oh my God! It's not Garfield. It's Oh, there's a movie or there's a mini series out. I just watched it. He didn't even want to be president. Oh, what? Give me the president's name.
You're close. It was Benjamin Harrison.
Harrison. Okay, so that's the Midwest. East Coast. Oh my goodness, Virginia.
One is extremely recent.
As a president or as the Super Bowl quarterback?
As the president.
Oh my God. Extremely recent? Are we talking Biden here?
Mm-hmm.
Where the fuck did Biden go to college?
You know where he went to college?
I don't have a goddamn clue where Biden went to college.
You know where he hails from?
Vermont.
No.
Is he not from Vermont?
I don't think so. Think small.
Rutgers?
Hey, they share something in common with the Wolverines.
Oh, Delaware. Joe Flacco and Joe Biden.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
There you go.
Let me go West Coast
left.
here.
This one should be pretty easy if you think
school.
about it. Big school.
It's not SC. I want to go Washington or Washington State, but then Oregon starts to dance in my mind. But who's there's not an Oregon quarterback.
Think about it. Old school Pac-12 schools.
Old school.
Who are the brainiacs?
Oh, Stanford.
There you go.
Stanford.
So Stanford had a couple of quarterbacks you can pick from.
I'm trying to think of the president.
President's harder, but he is notorious for being president during a very downtrodden time in U.S. history.
Hoover. Oh,
Yep.
I mean, which quarterback do you want me to pick?
I'll give you bonus points if you get them both.
Oh God,
this is fun. I enjoyed this. I love history.
Oh no, why am I blanking on Stafford? I'm so stuck on Andrew Luck. I can't get off of Andrew Luck. My brain keeps coming back to it.
Yeah, wrong century.
Yeah, no, I get that. Oh God, Steve Young didn't play there.
One of the all-time best.
Marino. No,
Nope,
he never
that's
won a Super
Pittsburgh.
Bowl.
And that too.
I'm blanking on both. You're gonna have to give them to me.
One's a pretty boy. He was the golden child before
Namath?
the golden child.
No, Namath
No.
didn't play at Stanford. Pretty golden child. before the
He
golden
resided in the great state of Colorado for quite a while.
Oh, Elway. Jesus Christ, AJ. Jesus walks.
And then the other one was Mr. Jim Plunkett.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
All right, and then
one more.
and this is an East
And
Coast.
this one, yep. Don't think about this one for a little bit. It's a little old schooly. Who used to be really good at football back early?
How early?
Like, we're talking
Navy.
one of the first powers.
Navy.
There you go.
And Roger Staubach.
Yep.
And I mean, there's probably a couple of different presidents, but give me Eisenhower.
That one I don't know off the top of my list. I'm staring at a picture of Jimmy Carter, but I'm assuming Eisenhower could be.
And shout out Jimmy Carter, just a simple peanut farmer who made something of himself.
Yeah, whether Dwight Eisenhower was or was not, I don't know, but I'll give you credit regardless.
Hey, Navy. I don't know how.
They're pretty cool.
I don't know how we can't. I mean, I should think about presidents and like, yeah, the armed service academies are obviously where I should have started.
So yeah, if New England wins, Drake May, UNC. Do you know the president?
Give me the era. Just give me a rough.
Here, even better. Let's see how well you know the presidents. I believe. Oh God, now I gotta double check. I'm pretty positive.
Don't.
He was the 8th. Nope, I was wrong. I was gonna say 8th president. He was not. 10th president of the United States.
10th president?
Nope. Lied. Not 10th.
Jesus, figure it out here, guy.
I was so confident with that one too. I was confident with both of those. Fuck.
Was it Monroe?
No, it was not. He was president number 11.
Oh, jeez.
Right after Tyler, right before Taylor.
I would know this name? Or is this kind of one of those names that's kind of out there?
I think you would know this name. Let's see if I can name some things
Tyler and Taylor.
He's known for.
Tyler was a weirdo.
He was there for the Mexican-American War. There was a dispute over the Oregon Territory while he was there.
Oh, God. Yeah, you're going to have to give it to me.
James Polk.
James Polk. You wanted me to pull James Polk out of my ass?
Are you saying he's one of the forgotten presidents?
Brother, there's quite a few of those. There's quite a few of those along the way.
Yep, James Polk, baby. There you go.
All right.
Okay. Off the history kick. Love that.
Now our listeners can sit here and say that they learned something today, you bunch of degenerates.
Yep. Okay. Other game, which was an instant classic, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
This game was electric. It made up for the lack of offense in the early game because all we saw was offense in this game. The Seahawks win a classic against the Rams, winning 31-27. And Sam Darnold, full circle, is just about complete. We said last week he was going to have to conquer his kryptonite if the Seahawks had any chance of making it to the Super Bowl. And he went out there and played potentially the best game he's played in the NFL. Completes 25 out of 36 passes, 346 yards, 3 touchdowns. And we were talking about, well, if LA can get pressure on him, make him quick with the ball, that's going to benefit them. Well, guess what? All 3 of those touchdowns came against pressure. and he stood in the face of it and he delivered. So I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna give Sam Darnold all of his roses. As a Vikings fan,
Does it hurt?
I it hurts a little bit, but I love to see the success of it all. And I hate scrolling on Twitter now when you have all these Vikings like fan accounts saying, "Oh, we should have never let him leave the building." Blah 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 blah. That was not the sentiment that we had in the end of last season after that loss to the Rams in the playoffs last year. That was not what everybody was saying. Hindsight's 2020. It sucks. We offered him the same contract that he ended up signing in Seattle. It was Sam's decision to go to Seattle. I'm not going to blame him. I'm happy for him. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, talk about an all-time story. The number 3 pick, right? Failed with the Jets. And truthfully, the Jets failed him. He bounces all over the place and just really bides his time. Gets a chance again and just does absolutely nothing but work his ass off to be the franchise guy. Then gets his reward in money and status, and look at where we are now. I mean, would any of us ever have thought of this the day that they moved on from him in New York, when Zach Wilson was all of a sudden a part of the picture? I don't know that any of us would have ever called this. I did see a tweet, though, that said that if Sam Darnold can beat the New England Patriots and stop them from winning the Super Bowl, it was well worth the number 3 pick by the New York Jets, because that's how much the Jets hate the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
It's
team number 5 for Sam Darnold, and it's truly a full circle moment because, like you said, the second he left New York, or he was banished from New York, everybody wrote him off. They thought he was just another chapter in a run of terrible quarterback play for the New York Jets, and nobody really wanted to give him a second chance. And now we're sitting here, 8 years later from when he was drafted, and he is literally the quarterback that we thought he was when he was drafted.
It was always in there.
I shit you not. If you went back and looked at his scouting report and what everybody was saying about him during that draft process, it's exactly what we're seeing on the field now. And I love that for Sam. Like, I will always cheer for a dude like this that is able to overcome adversity and succeed at a level like this, because I don't think there's another person that deserves it more.
No.
For the amount of shit that he's had to deal with.
I mean, he was labeled one of the biggest
career.
busts in NFL draft history at one point. Like, that's how they talked about him. Shout out to Clint Kubiak, because while I think Darnold started to get that pulled out of him, right, in Minnesota, which is awesome, Clint Kubiak was able to really harness that and really build something around him and give him that confidence to get him to this point. I don't want to poo-poo what Minnesota did for Sam, but something about Clint Kubiak.
What I was gonna say is the sentiment that I've actually been seeing on social media is people are starting to discredit what Kevin O'Connell was able to accomplish with Sam Darnold, and they're starting to give more of the credit to Mike Shanahan and what he did for Sam Darnold during his time in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Because you've seen it with Jimmy Garoppolo. You've seen it with Brock Purdy. You've seen it with
Mac Jones
this season. It's a lot of these dudes that were kind of written off, maybe don't have that level of talent that everybody else thinks of when you think of franchise quarterback, and he's succeeded at a very high level with all of them.
Yeah. And isn't that always the knock that, these are all, it's just the system. Purdy's a system guy. Mac Jones was able to slide in because it's a system. Is it, though? Or is he just really good at finding something within these guys? That's interesting. I like that. I still want to give flowers to Clint, but I do like that they're kind of poo-pooing that a little bit and shifting it over to San Fran. I do kind of like that.
Yeah, Kevin O'Connell and our GM are definitely living a nightmare right now.
Especially with the position that they're currently in, yes.
Yeah, they are living in a hell, and it's not fun for them.
Not even a little.
But I can't blame Matt Stafford and the Rams in that offense. They did everything they could have done in this game. Or they gained 479 total yards. They had 26 first downs, all against the number one ranked defense in the entire league. Matt Stafford was 22 for 35, 374 yards, 3 touchdowns. But the most impressive stat, on passes that traveled 20 plus yards in the air, he was 7 for 11, 226 yards, and a touchdown. Matt Stafford was fucking on one on Sunday. And I'm sorry, it sucks to put the blame on just one dude, but it's really hard not to put the blame on Xavier Smith.
Leave the young man alone.
Who many people probably didn't even know prior to this weekend. But that bobbled punt in the third quarter was a momentum swing.
Yep.
That changed the entire outcome of the game because the very next play, guess who's standing in the end zone dancing? Jake Bobo.
Hey.
But I'm sorry. You see Xavier Smith, he bobbled one earlier in the game.
Muffed one too, right?
He might have muffed two. I think he recovered the first one.
Okay, thank God.
That should have been enough for me as a coach in a game that important. Be like, yeah, somebody else get your ass out there.
Hey, we love you.
We ain't doing.
Get off the field.
We're not doing it. But I've also another thing. We're all super deep into like analytics nowadays, right? And like going forward on fourth down and whatnot.
Thank you.
Have we not gotten to the point where it just does? It makes more sense to just not have anybody back to catch a punt than it does for the chance that this happens and they muff it and the ball goes to the opposing team.
Yeah, just let it fall. They can't. There's no way for them to get the ball back. Let them down it at the 2-yard line for all we give a damn.
I'm surprised that has not become more of like something that we have started to see with the push of analytics in the NFL.
Oh, you might get roasted on the internet, and ESPN would have a field day with that, I feel like. But you think about it, it is a smart play in those situations, especially if you don't have a high-quality kick return.
Yeah, and it's different, too. I feel like in a punt return compared to like a kickoff, especially now with the kickoff rules, because the defense or the kicking team can't even start running until the ball's kicked, right? So there's no shot they are getting close to you for you to catch. Like, you have to catch that ball before they can even start running at you. So you don't have to worry about dudes running 20 miles an hour to fucking kill you. A punt return, I've always said this as a dude that never even got to JV in football. That punt returner would have to be one of the worst positions ever to fucking play. You are sitting there having to stare into the fucking sky to catch a ball that is 60 yards in the air as there are grown-ass men that are 250 pounds running full speed at you to take your head off.
One job, and it's to kill you.
Like, fuck that.
It's got to be the toughest thing in football, right? It has to be the toughest.
I would be fair catching everything. I would see the ball kick and immediately start waving my hand.
And that's why we sit here on a podcast and you don't play in the NFL. It's got to.
No, it goes back. It goes back to the thing. It's like if I had 10 chances to catch a punt from like an NFL punter, I might catch one. I think.
So college football, little rewind for you. You know, hey, we're not doing conditioning today. all the O linemen down to one end. You got to catch 2 punts in a row out of these O linemen. I've been a part of that. It is way harder than it looks especially when it's coming from somebody who actually knows how to punt and can turn the ball
Yeah,
over,
with like the
and it
directions
just
and shit.
drops. I mean, it's coming straight down like a missile from the heavens, and you're just supposed to get under it while wearing shoulder pads. No thanks. I've had to do it in practice with nobody running at me, and I look like an idiot. I look like the least athletic human being in the world.
Yeah, just hysterical. So I hate to doo on Xavier Smith like that, but it happens. It sucks. But I think LA definitely had their chances, even with those blunders, to still win this game. The 2 field goals earlier in the game, those obviously hurt a little bit. Also, McVay not going for 2 when they scored that last touchdown to try and get to 28 points. So then they could have put themselves for a chance to try and kick a field goal at the end. I feel like didn't make a whole lot of sense.
That's for me where it was. You're driving downfield in the fleeting moments of this game. Sure would be cool to be down 3 instead of 4. Like, sure would be cool. And like Mevis had his struggles, but Mevis has kicked some big kicks for the Rams this year. Like, there's no doubt about that. You took the opportunity away from him by what felt like a silly decision. And again, you're in the playoffs. Go take the chance to go win this ball game. Because if you don't, you're not going to get another one. And they didn't. And they ran out of time.
Yeah. But that now sets up one of the most unpredictable Super Bowls in NFL history. And I say that because if we look at preseason odds, I don't know how far back this dates, but you have the 1999 Rams. They were plus 1,500 preseason to make the Super Bowl. They end up winning that year. But then the next 2 teams, the 2025 Patriots at plus 8,000, and then the 2025 Seattle Seahawks at plus 6,000. So when I say not a damn soul out there predicted this matchup preseason, I mean not a goddamn person predicted this matchup in the preseason.
There is a Seahawks or a Patriots fan out there who is sweating right now, who put a lot of money on that early. Like, hey, I'm going to put 100 on it. Maybe it'll play, right? Who is going to be in the corner at their Super Bowl party. Nobody fucking talk to me. Put me in a dark room with just TV. Don't speak to me. There's a lot of money on this thing right now. That's so cool. And it is such a, neither of us picked either of these teams to make it even this deep. I think we talked about like the Broncos we thought could make it here, or at least I did. We thought the Rams could make it to this point. But to have young teams, young teams, it's incredible. And 2 incredibly defensive-minded coaches. Shout out to Mike McDonald, because what he's been able to build, the second coming of the Legion of Boom, dude, those DBs are flying around, and they're having so much fun doing it. Like, you can see the joy in the way that they play. And really, like, you look at some of the bad defenses, nobody wants to be out there. Nobody wants to be a part of this thing. Flip side of the coin is Mike McDonald and the Seattle Seahawks doing it with really nobody. We've said it. Leonard Williams and Ernest Jones are probably the biggest name in title on that defense. I guess is DeMarcus Lawrence.
I didn't know if you were posing that as a question. I thought you were just kind of saying that. No, I think the balls that Mike McDaniel has, because he comes from Baltimore, where he has Kyle Hamilton, who has turned into one of the best, if not the best, safeties in the entire league. And he was there for Kyle Hamilton's first year. And he goes and gets hired in Seattle. And he says, you know what I need for my defense to work? I need a big-bodied playmaker in the secondary. You know what they do? They go and draft Nick. I'm going to butcher how you say his last name. Emenwari. Early in the second round from South Carolina. And he has played better than anybody could have expected at the beginning of this season. He has come and slid into that position in Mike McDaniel's defense flawlessly.
Yeah, dude, I said it. He has rebuilt the Legion of Boom. And if you look at the play, right? Tariq Woolen, Devon Witherspoon, right? That's your Earl Thomas and your Richard Sherman. And then you've got Emin Worry, who is just this. He's Cam Chancellor again. It's incredible to watch. And again, dude, they're young. These guys are so young that the rest of the league should be worried about the Seattle defense for a while now.
Yeah, and since we have a week off until the Super Bowl, we'll get more into the actual matchup probably next week's show. Um, so we'll kind of leave it on a cliffhanger, um, and move over to some other things in the NFL. But good weekend in football. Now kind of sucks. We have to wait, but um, we'll see what happens. But there are some moves that were made in the NFL head coaching circle. The first one is probably the most recent, which is earlier today. Joe Brady was named as head coach or promoted to head coach of the Buffalo Bills. 36-year-old receives a 5-year deal um, with the Buffalo Bills. But I had saw a tweet before the show. I need to pull it up because this makes so much sense and it's very familiar, and it's two teams that went in very different directions. So I'm going to pose it to you, right? So, back in 2026 or 2016, the Falcons were a tier 1 NFL team. Matt Ryan was named MVP, had been named MVP. Kyle Shanahan was the one calling plays. Dan Quinn was the culture builder. He was the head coach. They reached the Super Bowl. We all know how that ended. They lost after they were up 28-3. Afterwards, the Falcons kept Quinn and they let Shanahan walk. Shanahan went to the 49ers, built a modern NFL powerhouse. No Super Bowls yet, but like we kind of said earlier in the game, he hasn't had a player like Josh Allen at quarterback at the same time. The Falcons, on the other hand, have had years of resets, multiple coaching changes, and no clear direction since. So, this is kind of an interesting case study for Buffalo, who kind of did the opposite. They got rid of the culture builder. They kept that young offensive mind. He's already helped Josh Allen get his MVP. He was already interviewing with multiple teams for their head coaching jobs, and the Bills decided to keep him in-house. My question to you, and I think it's the question that everybody's asking, is does this move veer the Bills far enough in a new direction to justify moving off from Sean McDermott, who many people can agree upon was probably a top 5 to 10 NFL coach? Or I guess I'll just leave it there.
Sure. And let me praise Joe Brady a little bit here. He also developed at LSU a guy by the name of Joe Burrow. You may have heard of him. Joe Brady was the reason Joe Burrow was successful at LSU. Obviously, he's developed even more in Cincinnati, but the baseline, like he was a freak coming out. We knew that. That being said, I don't know that Joe Brady pushes. I don't know that Joe Brady's better than McDermott. I thought this was Dable's job, and they could maintain a little bit of status quo, maybe a little bit of culture change, but that felt like the move. Putting Joe Brady in there, I don't know that Joe Brady is going to coach this team at a head coaching level better than McDermott could. I like Joe Brady as an OC. I'm not sure he's entirely ready to be a head coach. It doesn't feel like this was the move. I got the notification, went, wait, what? Like, Dable made sense. And forgive me, I might be mistaken, but Dable and Brady may have overlapped for a year in Buffalo, as Joe Brady being the QB coach, Dable being the OC. Don't quote me on that, but I'm fairly certain there was a year before Dable jumped to New York.
I'm pretty positive.
Yeah. So like that connection again made sense. And I think Dable wanted the job. I just don't know if this was the move for me. I don't hate it, but there's just something not quite right about it for me.
I think there's two things that are going to change the perception of how we view this. And that's one, is Joe Brady going to continue to call offensive plays? Or is he going to go find an offensive coordinator and take a more holistic approach? Kind of like John Harbaugh, for example, does, where he kind of lets his coordinators be the one in charge. And two, who's he going to come in to run that defense?
Yeah.
Those are going to be the two big questions because obviously 36 years old, he's going to be one of the youngest head coaches in the league. It would be smart, in my opinion, to get some well-established minds in there at coordinator, at both coordinator positions, that can help him.
Buffalo
But
doesn't need I'll tell you this much. Buffalo does not need a youth revolution in their coaching staff. I think if you're saying Joe Brady's the guy, we need an OC and a DC that have the experience. Honestly, I would go the older the better on defense at this point. And I think there's some capable names out there flying around that he might be able to even steal from some other teams. But what I don't want to see is three guys under the age of 40 trying to make this work and then ultimately ending up squandering Josh Allen's career. We can't have it. But if you don't think that Josh Allen had a say in who this head coach was and won't have a say in who the offensive coordinator is, you're dead wrong. So I think a lot of this is running through Josh Allen. I think Josh said, okay, I'm comfortable with Joe, but who are you bringing in? And it's got to be a great offensive mind, somebody who's been around the block.
And who knows, they may be sabotaged from the upstairs because it seems like Brandon Beane really has his mouth to the owner's ear and has him doing whatever he wants, unfortunately. So their hands could be tied regardless here.
Did we talk about the Keon Coleman situation last week? I can't remember. With Tony Pagula, the owner of the Bills?
No, I think that came out afterwards or as we were recording or something.
Can I have a moment? Because I made a mistake last week. And I said that the Bills, I think, were a good franchise. I couldn't have been more fucking wrong. Fuck Tony Pagula. Fuck Brandon Beane. Because both those two are snake fucks. I'm going to say it out loud. Because in that press conference, when they were asked about Keon, Tony Pagula opened his rich, stupid ass and said, let me interrupt for a second. It was the coaching staff's decision to draft Keon. I know how you feel about Keon. But what's the worst fucking thing you can do for a young receiver, any young player? Fucking shit talk him after you just fired his coach. And then all of a sudden, mic'd up from the combine comes out of Brandon Beane getting excited about Keon Coleman. Said Keon's, if he's there at 22, he's our guy. He's our guy. But if I'm Keon Coleman, as soon as those words left Tony Pagula's stupid mouth, I'm tweeting out, fuck Tony Pagula, fuck the Buffalo Bills, I want to trade. Because that's ridiculous. And I understand the frustration with Keon, but how dare you as an owner and a GM do that to a young player who he's trying, man. He's doing everything he can. He might not be that he might not be that guy talent-wise, and that's okay.
Or you can say how many team meetings was he late for this year that resulted in him getting DNPs?
Sure, but like, dude, don't. I get that. I get it. That's on me.
That's also something the owner says with the full intention that they know that Keon Coleman will not be on the roster at the start of next season.
Oh, because they're so great at building wide receiver rooms. Let's just start cutting dudes that have any level of NFL talent. Let's bring Josh Palmer in on a 3-year huge contract for what he is. That's a smart fucking move. Fuck Tony Pagula. Fuck Brandon Beane. I hope that they fucking crash, and it's unfortunate that Josh Allen's going to go with them. It pissed me off so much. To do that, for the owner to do that in the media. How dare you?
I mean,
I'll be honest. It's not what owners do. If the coach wants to do that, the coach is going to do that. Tony Pagula's fat ass hasn't been on that practice field in years.
Sure. But I am also, and obviously I am not an owner. I am not a GM. But I am a person of accountability. And if you play like shit and you act like an ass, you deserve to be called on it. I don't care if it's in front of the media. And with the amount of money that they're paying Keon Coleman, I don't feel sorry for him.
He's not the one to do
and
it.
it's not like Pagula's saying anything. He's not he may not directly be saying, "Hey, Keon Coleman, doo-doo butt cheeks." Right? Like, it could have been a lot worse. He could have been like, "Yeah." Like, he could have been way worse. Let's be completely honest.
It was not his. I get he's the owner. I get he signs the checks. That was not his place to say that at all. And truth,
but I think
he's going to lose that locker room because of that.
But at the same time, he's also, you can flip it and say, well, he's standing up for his guy. He's standing up for his GM, well, now president of football ops, because he was getting dragged in the media, blah, blah, blah. Whether or not it's true, and it was Sean McDermott and the coaching staff's decision, one, that still also looks bad on you because you are the owner and the GM. You still definitely have final say. So if you really didn't agree with them, you could have just said no.
Well, and then
you have that.
Well, then
you have that power.
Then the evidence in 4K comes out of Brandon Beane being excited about Keon Coleman. Like, you look like a fucking idiot, and it's because Brandon Beane and Tony Pagula are fucking idiots. It wasn't his place, and part of that's probably me being pissed off that they fired McDermott in the first place, and then promoted Beane, which is we talked about, but it's just like, fucking hey, man, that wasn't your place to say that. How fucking dare you do that to a second-year player?
Mm-hmm. Other head coaching moves in the NFL, and this one was probably the biggest what the fuck moment that we've seen thus far. And that was when Mike McCarthy, of all people, was named the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is probably the most surprising because we all know it's been something that the media has repeated over and over again since Mike Tomlin left. But this is a franchise that has had 3 coaches since the 1970s. And you know how you do that? 1, you're extremely successful. But 2, you also are going and nailing hires of really young dudes that become just great NFL coaches, right? And they completely moved away from that and hired a 62-year-old Mike McCarthy, who last won a Super Bowl in, what was it, 2010? 12 with the Green Bay Packers. That was 13 years ago. 14 years ago. I don't see the vision. And the thing that the owner, Rooney, kept saying in the media when they made this hire was, this isn't a rebuild. This isn't a rebuild. This isn't a rebuild. We expect to compete. Blah, 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 blah. Buddy, I'm sorry, but have you not seen the last 5 years of Pittsburgh Steelers football? Like,
maybe you need a rebuild.
Do you want to keep meandering around 8 to 11 wins, losing in the first round, and getting a early to mid 20s pick? Sometimes the best thing that can happen for a franchise is taking a reset, because sometimes, especially with their cap situation, like their book, it probably wouldn't hurt to reset, especially with where they're at, especially at quarterback, where your options are either bringing a 43-year-old Aaron Rodgers back next year, or going out and getting Malik Willis, or maybe get trade for Mac Jones. But you're not going to go find your quarterback in the draft this year with how dog shit it is. Is it the worst thing in the world to go and reset? I guess it's not even an option now that you've hired McCarthy.
Not now.
You've backed yourself into a corner.
Well, and let's not forget that if your plan is that Aaron Rodgers was going to be your guy next year, Aaron Rodgers fucking hates Mike McCarthy. And Mike McCarthy doesn't like Aaron anymore. But they asked him about it, and he said, yeah, if he's a part of the team kind of thing, then he's part, yeah, he's a good quarterback. What else is Mike McCarthy supposed to say? Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers is going to be on Pat McAfee next week going, bro, fuck this shit. I'm out of here, man. I'm not doing all that. Like, I don't think people understand how Aaron felt towards McCarthy at the end.
He was pretty much the reason McCarthy got fired at the end.
So let's take one of the most storied franchises in NFL history and let's put these two in a room together. Let's see what happens. Put it on a reality TV show.
honestly, it'd be the best thing for McCarthy if Rodgers didn't come back, in my opinion. It's not like Aaron Rod again. We'll go back to it, and I know we don't have somebody to play devil's advocate here. You can look at Aaron Rodgers' counting stats this year and say, "Hey, they weren't that bad." But if you actually watched Aaron Rodgers play for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, he was a negative to that team. The dude could barely pass the ball downfield. He was starting to look like Ben Roethlisberger and Drew Brees at the end, where it's just a bunch of checkdowns and passes at the line of
Yeah,
scrimmage.
the arm's gone. And that's
Yeah.
that's okay.
There's no pop
dude.
anymore.
That's okay. You've been doing it for God knows what 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Like it's okay.
Yeah, but to say for anybody to be like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is the best
Option.
possible case. Yeah, best option. I don't agree with
And
that.
McCarthy already came out and said that he really likes Will Howard as a quarterback and that he thinks there's something there. So that already tells me where McCarthy's head's at and where potentially Pittsburgh's head's at, given what happened last year and then now this relationship. It's like, hey, Art Rooney, did you know that they hate each other? Like, I really hope you knew that before. I hope somebody in your camp was like, you're aware that these two want to kill each other, right?
Yeah. So that one, interesting. If we're giving out early grades, I give that one a easy F.
D minus.
Fine. D minus.
Only because McCarthy does have a Super Bowl under his belt.
D minus. Fair.
Hey, real quick, before we move off NFL head coaches, can I hit you with a little stat that I saw?
Hit me with a stat.
The University of Michigan won the national championship in 2023.
Correct.
Jim Harbaugh was the head coach, now the head coach of the Chargers.
Correct.
Jesse Minter was the defensive coordinator, now hired by the Ravens as the head coach.
Correct.
And Mike McDonald was the DB's coach. And he's coaching the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. So the 2023 national championship, Michigan Wolverines had 3 NFL head coaches. It's not surprising why they won it.
Pretty good coaching staff there, huh?
Pretty solid. But there was also a guy named Sharon Moore on there, and that's a whole nother beast in and of itself. Yes. Tough look. But no, that's a coaching staff, man. That's a well-built coaching staff.
Okay, Herb, I know we've been recording for just about an hour and a half here. Do you want to talk any NBA, or do you want to wrap up with some shout-outs? And because we're going to have some lulls here after the Super Bowl, so I don't know if we want to hold off on some NBA talk until then.
You know, I think next week's going to be a good week to talk NBA because the February 5th deadline looms next Thursday. So I think that's going to get real spicy here. Real spicy. I think we're going to see some names move.
Okay. I don't, but we can continue talking about that later. But it sounds like we'll go into shout-outs then?
Yeah, shout them out. What you got this week?
I feel like it is time to shout out the Miami of Ohio Redhawks, who sit at a flawless 20-0 record, top of the MAC, just officially entered the top 25.
They did, yes.
Finally, at number 24. And Herb, I'm going to say it now, I don't know if this team loses this year, at least in the regular season. They are far and away the best team in the MAC, in my opinion. And this is a team that is averaging damn near 100 points every time they play. It is crazy.
They shoot the lights out of the gym. When all of a sudden they started popping up on my timeline, I said, what are these guys really about? They shoot the lights out of the gym. I think they're shooting like 70% from 3 or some asinine, crazy-ass number.
Did you just say 70% from 3?
Dude, it's something crazy. It's above 60.
Okay, it's not going to be 70, though.
That's why I said some asinine number.
But they are shooting almost 40%.
From 3, that's it?
Yeah.
The game I watched, God, who the hell were they playing? But I didn't think they could miss from 3. Also, did you see what their head coach said about their strength of schedule?
Didn't he allude to the fact that it's because they tried to go and schedule people and they just said no?
He's
I love that.
not our
I
fault.
love that. I love that. I think moving forward, mid majors need to start going. Yeah, we asked Minnesota, we asked Ohio State, we asked XYC, we asked all these schools to play. They all said no.
Yeah, they didn't want to play
Go
us.
talk to them. Go talk to them. We tried.
Yeah, and now there are teams that are trying to build an RPI and build a resume to make the tournament who are like, shit, I wish we would beat them, how well they're playing. We'd love a mid-major on this pod. We'd love a mid-major.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Red Hawks, huh?
I'm always a sucker for the mid majors.
Okay, let me ask you real quick. Make a prediction. How deep in the tournament? I know it's it's a month and a half out, but
it's all dependent on where they how the bracket lands.
Sure, but come on, take a stab. They Sweet 16er?
I think they could. I think it all comes down to shooting, and we know shooting. It's hard to when that's your best trait as a team. It sucks. It's electric, but it sucks because that's the one thing where if you have one off day, you're done.
Live by, die by, right?
Exactly. But yes, I definitely could see them making it to the second weekend.
Okay, all right. My shout out. I'm gonna stay in the basketball world. A legend of the game got his number retired in Chicago. Derrick Rose over the weekend had his number 1 retired. And there's a lot of talk from people that I know, people on the internet, saying, why are we retiring his number? This is ridiculous. His career wasn't much. What I want to say to those folks is that a kid from Chicago, a kid from Simeon, who was able to stay home and put on for his city in more ways than just on the court. The things that Derrick Rose has been able to do for the city of Chicago and Chicago public schools, incredible human being. The biggest thing that I'll say about Derrick Rose is this: Derrick Rose is not a what if, but an if only. Right? He had the injury. He's the youngest MVP ever. That's why his number's being retired. Because when he was on the court in his first couple years, he was the best player on the court when they weren't playing the Cavs. He was better than everybody. One of the most explosive point guards. Russell Westbrook doesn't have a game to model after if Derrick Rose doesn't come before him. Because that's what Russ was trying to be. Derrick Rose is easily one of the most explosive players to ever come through the NBA. He's just a kid from Chicago, man. And he got to stay home and put on for the team that he grew up watching. It brought a tear to my eye because all of a sudden I was 12 years old again, remembering and watching those highlights and just having those feelings of watching Derrick play, because you just knew every time he laced him up, it was just going to be the most exciting thing you ever watched. So shout out to Derrick Rose on an incredible career. Shout out to Derrick Rose, and I'm glad that one's retired hanging up in the United Center.
Yeah, and I'll say it. I'll kind of echo the sentiment that I was seeing on Twitter beforehand. Everybody thinks of Chicago, thinks of Michael Jordan, the 6 titles and whatnot, but there is truly a lot of people that believe Derrick Rose did more for the city of Chicago or means more to the city of Chicago than Michael Jordan does. And I'm not going to say whether I agree with it or disagree with it. I'm not from Chicago. All I will say is I do know that Derrick Rose is a great human being, a great father, and he was a damn good basketball player. It just sucks, like you said. It's a not a what if, it's a if only type of thing. But I have no qualms about Derrick Rose's number being retired into the Raptors in Chicago. It was truly a very emotional scene with all of his former teammates, with Tibbs, the jokes that he was making with Tibbs, and his moments with his family. It was beautiful, and I don't think it could have happened probably to a nicer guy.
No. And for a moment, Chicago Bulls fans got to go back in history and relive it. And thank you to Derrick Rose for what he did for Chicago. The native son stayed home. Pretty fucking incredible, to be honest.
Yeah. And it also just gave us a good reason to watch old Derrick Rose Chicago Bulls highlights. Dude, and like you were saying, some of those, like, his dunks were ferocious. And you have to remember, he was a 6'3" guard, and he was jumping out of the fucking building. He was John Morant and Russell Westbrook before John Morant and Russell Westbrook were out there. It was just crazy. His moves, his playmaking, it was electric. I will give you that. And it always just reminds me, fuck Mario Chalmers, who robbed us of a Derrick Rose Memphis Tigers championship. God damn it.
That Memphis team with Joey Dorsey, elite. What a team.
Dogs. But that is a good place to wrap it up for this week. Episode 40 in the books.
Hell yeah, fuck yeah.
We will catch everybody on next week's episode. We'll dive deeper into the Super Bowl. Maybe we'll get Busby back on, talk some NHL, get a little Olympic preview in, perhaps. But as always, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow, tell somebody no to give us a listen if you haven't, and we will catch you next week.
See ya.
Peace.